Hopefully you're all warm and cozy this morning. Welcome to the 6th annual Minneapolis Parks Foundation Sunrise on the Mississippi River. So glad you all could join me. This is different from years past, but we're really thrilled that so many of you chose to start your morning with us. My name's Tom Evers. I'm the Executive Director of the Minneapolis Parks Foundation. And on behalf of the board and our staff and all the people who our mission serves, thanks for choosing to join us this morning for our annual fundraiser. It's a little different than we do. I really wish we could be here together this morning. It's a beautiful September morning. The fog is lifting off of the river. Downtown is making an appearance here on Boom Island, where we have hosted many of our sunrise breakfasts. Thank you again for joining us for the next about a half an hour, 40 minutes. We've got some great things to show you, and we're really excited to have you part of this. Before we begin, I want to just give a little tutorial here as to what we're doing. I'm sure most of you are familiar with Zoom by this point, but on the bottom of your screen, you should see a Q&A button. If you have questions, you can type those in, and Jeanette or somebody on our staff will be able to respond and answer to those. And if it's something that's relevant to everybody, they may share it to everybody as well. And also on your, I believe your upper left of your, upper right of your screen, you can maximize so you can see the videos in full form on your screens. And then also you'll see most likely on your upper left of your, upper right of your screen, you should see an icon that has the location to which you can make a donation. So as a fundraiser, we really are excited to have you here this morning for this fundraiser. You can make a donation this morning at www.mplsparksfoundation.org/donate. So thank you for joining us. We are really thrilled. These are really unique times. We recognize that. And I miss seeing you all in person. We miss having everybody here. And we hope to do this again next year in person. I'm located right now, most of you have been here before, but we're at Boom Island, which is a gem in the Minneapolis Parks system, right here on the upper river, just upriver from downtown Minneapolis. It's also really important, I think, to note that we stand here, that Minneapolis Park System, the city of Minneapolis, is located on the traditional, ancestral, and contemporary lands of the Dakota people. We are stewards here as part of this. And as we work to improve our future, it's really important that we're also aware of our past. As most all of us know, this has been one of the most challenging one of the most challenging years for the Minneapolis Parks system that it's ever had to navigate. And they've been asked to do more than ever before. Early in the spring, they ended up creating more space for us to socially distance along our lakes and our creeks and our rivers and in the parks. And then spent an extraordinary amount of time addressing public health through COVID. And early decisions like that helped us make more space for us. And as a city, we've just begun to truly reckon with the racism and social inequity embedded into our city and our nation. And it's in this context in which we are continuing to do our work. And it's really, through this summer, one thing's become more clear than ever before. The Minneapolis Park System is the essence of our city, Minneapolis. It's where we come together in good times and bad. It's where it's a work in progress. And we all today have a responsibility for stewarding it forward. So I hope today you leave with a feeling of pride and excitement and inspiration about what this park system means to all of us and how it can transform lives. And I hope you're inspired by all that you've helped us accomplish as donors and supporters of the Parks Foundation, and to continue to be part of this future. So today, we also want to make sure when we made a decision to go virtual this summer, we really appreciated having the support of many donors and sponsors who jumped on board with us. Many who you saw on the slide that began and it will be at the end But also I want to just make a special thanks to our lead sponsors, General Mills, Bank of America, Bremer Bank, United Properties, and the Minneapolis Foundation. We couldn't do this without that support, and all of the folks, all of the companies and individuals who gave. So thank you so much. Over the next 30 minutes, you're going to see some amazing footage about our city. We're going to start by going upriver from where I stand into the RiverFirst. Right now I stand on the river, within the RiverFirst corridor. We're going to share you a little bit about the overlook and an introduction from our board chair, Dorothy Bridges. And so sit back. I'll be back in about 7 minutes. We'll have some more, and then we'll go down to Waterworks and show you some videos there. And then at the end, we'll finish with some thank yous and a little overview of the park system and RiverFirst. So enjoy. Thank you for joining us, and we will be back in about 7 minutes with a little bit more. All right.
Hello, I'm Dorothy Bridges. I'm the chair of the Minneapolis Parks Foundation. I'm standing here in Ole Olson Park, one of the hidden gems of our Minneapolis park system. It's also where more than 50 miles of connected biking and walking trails dead ends before reaching North Minneapolis. The Minneapolis Parks Foundation shares my passion for transforming human lives through utilization of our parks and public spaces by aligning philanthropic dollars with community vision. The driving force behind me wanting to be a part of the Minneapolis Parks Foundation is growing up in New Orleans, Louisiana, there were not many neighborhood parks. The only park that welcomed African Americans at the time was in great disrepair. I wanted to ensure that a similar experience doesn't occur in Minneapolis. Minneapolis Parks Foundation is committed to helping deliver an equitable park system for everyone. When you think about the history of parks in Minneapolis and what they provided for some communities, like those around the chain of lakes, better health and access to nature, you understand how essential it is to be a part of the effort to ensure that parks are here for future generations and that all communities and neighborhoods can benefit. The Minneapolis Parks Foundation is living that commitment by advocating for equitable investments in our parks, by supporting park projects and programming throughout the city and RiverFirst. Just upriver from Ole Olson Park is the Great Northern Greenway Overlook at 26th Avenue North, the first step in a collaborative effort to restore a relationship between North Minneapolis and the Mississippi River. Future phases of the project, known as the River Link, will connect the overlook to Ole Olson Park, finally extending the grand rounds into North Minneapolis. The newly opened overlook is a signature project of the Minneapolis Parks Foundation's RiverFirst Capital Campaign, which through the generosity of our donors like you, is bringing $18.1 million to build the overlook and waterworks just downstream. Both of these projects were conceived a decade ago as part of a once-in-a-generation opportunity to transform what was heavy industry into a network of public parks and trails, improving the health and well-being of the river's vital ecosystem and the communities intertwined with it. We're also helping to fulfill a nearly 140-year-old promise that all waterways in the city of Minneapolis are protected for public good. When we began this work in 2010, it was vital and important. Today, in the midst of a global pandemic that's seen economic and social devastation and a reckoning with race that's demanding we act on our values, it's urgent. Our city's parks play an essential role in the health of our environment and the well-being of our community. You'll see that in the stories we've gathered about the 26th Avenue Overlook and Waterworks. From North Minneapolis, youth designers whose dynamic narrative of Mississippi River history is forged in steel, to the sous chef's indigenous food revolution set to take center stage at Waterworks, these stories reveal how intertwined humankind is with its landscape. As a board member and a donor, what excites me about the work we're doing is tangible action and results and the momentum that we've established. Support from donors and partners like you make it all possible. Won't you join me and give today to the Minneapolis Parks Foundation to help us realize our mission? Thank you.
The story is sort of a timeline of the past and then the present and then on to the futures.
So the most important thing about the Overlook is probably two things. First, it's the first real connection to the water for North Minneapolis with a direct connection.
We kind of broke the narrative down into 4 segments. So it starts off talking about nature, and then urbanization, and then revolution and reconciliation. So those were kind of the main themes.
Seeing this story and then through that story, like literally you can see the river.
It's really kind of a beachhead in terms of then that connection and what it'll do in terms of getting people in North Minneapolis to think that the river is also theirs.
The goal was to talk about the history and narrative of the Mississippi in Minnesota in general, but specifically here in the Twin Cities and how that actually shaped Minneapolis.
Last summer, students from Juxtaposition Arts not only traveled the river by kayak, where a significant number of students never get on the water in a kayak or have never been in a kayak. So they not only traveled the river by kayak as a way to learn about the river and its connection to community, and not that it's just something that you see, but that, you know, it's actually a living, breathing thing.
I'm imagining when I first am able to like take my family down to this spot and tell them that this is something that I've worked on.
And there is a railing around it, and apprentices at Juxtaposition designed this railing, which really is showcases the history of the Mississippi River.
So just kind of paying homage to the landscape. And then it's all done through silhouette, so you can't go super in detail with the holes the way they were placed. So I focused on starting with the nature aspect and then kind of getting into like the Native Americans that lived along the river and how it was a big part of the way they transported goods.
Like I saw the story happening as I was on the river, and that's how I came to the realization of why the story is important.
It's an urban insertion because we're really using the right-of-way for the existing street that was dead-ending really at the river to create a new place.
D'Angelo and Kyle really helped with those last 2 segments where you can see it changes, where you can see the hand kind of ripping from the water, which represented the man-made infrastructure coming through and taking away, or kind of taking that aspect away from it being so natural, and then you get to see the ramifications of that.
We went on a kayaking trip, which was actually my first time kayaking on the Mississippi. And I didn't really know exactly what to expect, but I think as a team, when we went onto the river, there was an overwhelming feeling about like reflectiveness.
So this whole idea of youth input and design and being able to make the connection between what the river is about and what its relationship is to the built environment, I think is really important. I hope that coming to the Overlook will be not only a physical interaction where you come, you see what it is, you see the river, but also an emotional reaction where you understand that this is someplace special that you haven't been able to access and that now you can. And so then as the opportunities continue to grow for what you can do at the Overlook, I think that'll translate then into pride for this place and the connection back to the north side that this is ours.
Going further up the river and interacting with it even closer then leads you to think critically about why it looks that way. And to me, that was the most shocking part of digging into why it looks that way and then also thinking about how it could look in the future.
All right, welcome back. As we were watching the video, we had a guest join us. There's a pelican out here on the Mississippi River just drifting along, which is a nice addition to the landscape. Thanks for sticking with us. We're back here at Boom Island. Thank you, our board chair, Dorothy Bridges, and our entire board. We're really fortunate to have a group of leaders who commit the time and resources to help make the Parks Foundation what it is. We're also so lucky, privileged, and grateful to have the partnerships like Juxtaposition Arts and other organizations in the city help us connect to that community vision. It's been an honor to work with those kids, and I'm excited for you all to see this overlook as it comes to life and comes online with a goal is that it will be open by October. So we hope to get you all out there. Before we transition to the next couple of videos going downriver to Waterworks, I just want to say a little bit more about the Parks Foundation and our work beyond the river. We have committed to making sure that the RiverFirst vision is brought forward in partnership with the Park Board, but we are, as a philanthropic partner to the Park Board and to the city and to the county and to the whole park system, we reach throughout the park system. So we've been really excited about a new partnership, a merger this year with People for Parks, a long-standing organization that has been in the Minneapolis Park system. And together we've created the People for Parks Fund to help generate new giving into the park system. And nationally, we've been invited to be part of something called the Reimagining the Civic Commons. Many of you may have remembered a couple years ago, we had a speaker, Lynn Ross, come as one of our Sunrise guests to talk about this national partnership. The Reimagining the Civic Commons is going to help us explore how to better connect the impact of parks and public space into the neighborhoods and other community resources, not just parks, but libraries and museums. But we'll be looking at how neighborhoods are impacted by parks and how parks can benefit the lives of those around it. We're striving to make sure that this Parks Foundation, that our mission touches everybody's lives. So if you haven't done so already, many of you have, and thank you, but if you haven't done so already, you can still give at mplsparksfoundation.org/donate. And if you can even open another window in your browser while you're still listening to me and go ahead and click through that. We also, if you want to send one through mail, a gift through the mail, we welcome that too. So now we're going to go downriver. I'm so excited to show you Waterworks. Many of you have seen the visuals, the illustrations. Many of you probably have walked by it under construction. We have some incredible partnerships that are helping that take shape. We are thrilled to have the design community, Damon Farber and HGA help create it, and all the partnerships there that are making it come to life and our key partner, the Minneapolis Park and Rec Board. And so the Waterworks is located at the central riverfront, right at the edge of the Stone Arch Bridge. It is going to be, we are reactivating some old mill ruins there, and you'll see, and this is going to become an iconic destination, not just for Minneapolis, but for the entire state of Minnesota, a place for us to showcase the Mississippi River, St. Anthony Falls. So please join me, and we go to a couple more videos here to show you a little bit about the site itself, the design process and what it is, as well as one of the key partnerships that will help activate the site with the sous chef. So I'll be back. We'll be back in a little bit. I think we've got about 7 more minutes of video here before we come back. So sit back and enjoy, and we'll be back shortly.
I'm Kate Lamers. I'm a landscape architect with the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board, and we are standing on the site of the Waterworks Park Project, which is a park development project on the west bank of the Mississippi River in downtown Minneapolis. More recently, this history is often known as kind of the birthplace of the modern city of Minneapolis. This was where many of the mills were located. Many of these mills formed the industry that formed much of the modern city. After being the site of mills and industry, became sort of the center of the new downtown as we know it now. We know that there's a tremendous amount of history in the area, but oftentimes what is most visible here is the milling history, the industrial history. Did a deeper search for the more hidden histories of underrepresented communities whose stories often don't get told. This has been a gathering place for a long time. Many different cultures would often meet on the river and around the falls, and so we wanted to make sure that we were telling deeper stories at this site. One of the unique aspects of the Waterworks project is that this is really a place where almost everybody in the city intersects and comes to at some point or another. It's become one of the most highly visited areas. So we saw it as a project that was partly for the residents who live in downtown, but we really wanted to try to make sure that it was a place that everybody could enjoy. Different cultures, different backgrounds, different ages, different abilities. We really wanted this project to work for everyone.
I am Jean Garbarini. I'm the lead landscape architect for the Waterworks project. The site had to be designed with an incredible amount of flexibility. We wanted to make sure that it was a very welcoming site, a very open site, a visually connected site, and we wanted to think about how it might be used for programming, large groups, small groups, to find quiet space, places to just watch the river and watch the theater of the city.
On the north end, we would have a nature play area and probably kind of a quieter lawn area that people would hopefully be playing and picnicking. We would have some music and some education going on the city steps.
The upper Columbia Terrace will be sort of a secondary place to support the restaurant, so you'll be able to eat out in the Columbia Terrace. It'll also serve as a function for private dining when there's a private event happening, and it's also one of the best places to see the falls.
At the Waterworks project, there was the opportunity to create an innovative rainwater reuse system that will provide up to 1 million gallons of rainwater for the site's irrigation and toilet flushing each year. The Park Board anticipates that this is about 30 to 40% of the water needed for these purposes. The new building is kind of interwoven in with the old building. We ultimately made the decision to reuse the existing mill walls. When you walk in, there's kind of a large open-air area with a lobby, and if you go up the stairs, that is where the main restaurant area is. The Parks Foundation has really helped and supported the vision, and they provided not only the bulk of the funding, but also a lot of staff support and expertise. They've been very much champions and advocates of the project and have given the Park Board a lot of support.
I don't really know where this project would have gone without their support, and as a resident of Minneapolis, I'm really grateful to have this organization supporting our Minneapolis parks.
My name is Sean Sherman. I am the CEO and founder of the company The Sous Chef, based here in Minneapolis, and we are in the future home of the restaurant Owamini by The Sous Chef, which is going to be opening very soon. And we're going to be serving a lot of healthy indigenous food that's relevant to this area and being able to tell a lot of story with our food. We prioritize purchasing from indigenous vendors around us first. And we're just going to do a very regionally based menu that's going to be really focused on the foods and the flavors of right here. We're just really excited to create a menu that's going to center around that. It's just going to be an amazing project to be able to create something that is Dakota inspired on Dakota land and really tell the history of this land right where we're standing.
My name is Dana Thompson. I am co-owner and COO of the company The Sous Chef. We're really excited to tell the Dakota story, which we feel hasn't been told yet. And we want to do that through food and community and cultural preservation. Sean and I were really excited to get this project, and we didn't realize that we were also going to be able to develop a really incredible education component so that people are going to be able to come down to Waterworks and have a walking tour, being able to identify all these trees and plants that are actually food and medicine and ceremony and have so many different uses. We want the community to be really deeply involved in that and learn to identify plants wherever they are.
I think it's just going to be really important to be able to have an indigenous focused restaurant. So it's really going to be a first for Minneapolis to really kind of showcase a beautiful way to create a modern indigenous food place that's going to be welcoming, healthy, and also just gorgeous.
Sean and I started working with the Minneapolis Park Board and the Park Foundation in 2015. We've just created these great partnerships that I think are going to continue to grow and evolve once we get the restaurant open and start leveraging all the things that we can do down on the river. I just keep thinking about how excited we are to be able to tell the Dakota story of this land. There's been so much homage paid to the industrial history of this area, and the Dakota history has so much wisdom and beauty, And I think the time is right for people to hear it and to understand it and to incorporate it into their lives, because it's truly a message of sustainability. Good morning. I'm Jennifer Downham, the Chief Development Officer of the Minneapolis Parks Foundation. And I'm joining Tom this morning from the Longfellow House to say thank you and to make sure you know your support of the Parks Foundation is appreciated. And your help this morning at mplsparksfoundation.org/donate will help us reach our fundraising goal. Thank you. Many of you have joined Tom and me and members of our board on tours via the Minneapolis Water Taxi or walking or driving tours of these sites that we're seeing here this morning. Our RiverFirst capital campaign has raised nearly $18 million in capital contributions to help these projects come to life. I welcome a chance to bring all of you out there, if you haven't already, to see these projects firsthand and to share with you more about how RiverFirst campaign is delivering on a promise of our parks to transform lives. RiverFirst is just one demonstration of what we can achieve through the Parks Foundation. And it is an honor to be a part of the generosity of our donors who truly share our passion for the city, our lakes, parks, the river, the creek, and the river. The Minneapolis Parks Foundation is here today to help deliver these projects because of donors like you who have helped support our mission each year and contribute to our ongoing operations. Thanks to our sponsors and many of you this morning, we have raised over $70,125 toward our $90,000 goal for Sunrise. Thank you. If you haven't done so already, please help us reach our goal and to support our work. Our work would not be successful without the incredible partnerships we have with our public partners, City of Minneapolis, Hennepin County, and our primary partner, the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board. The staff and leadership of the Park Board demonstrate true public service every day, and it's a pleasure to work with them. There's no better advocate for our park system than Superintendent Al Bangura. As you will see, Al cares deeply for the Minneapolis park system and is the right leader for this time. Thanks again for your support, and I hope to see you in person sooner rather than later.
Hi, I'm Al Bangura, Superintendent for the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board. I want to extend a heartfelt thank you for supporting the Minneapolis Park System. Our parks are built on the generosity of volunteers, nonprofits, and philanthropy. People have a lot of passion for our parks, and we are incredibly grateful for all of our supporters, including the Minneapolis Parks Foundation, which has really stepped up and grown into an essential role in our mission to extend our park system to more equitably serve Minneapolis. Take a look at the Central Riverfront today. It's tough to imagine Minneapolis that didn't have these attractions, pillars of our city's acclaimed quality of life. But most riverfront parks, trails, and attractions were built after 1980. And they were only built thanks to visionary planning and smart, generous partners who recognized the shared benefit of the riverfront developed for the public. Waterworks will be a premier attraction for our park system. The Central Riverfront is a premier destination, not only for Minneapolis, but the entire state and region. Visitors are growing like crazy, up to 600,000 just in the last year, from 3 million in 2018 to 3.6 million in 2019. Millions of residents and visitors will benefit from creating a world-class park space at a spot that desperately needed improvements next to the Stone Arch Bridge. RiverFirst is about equity and access. Minneapolis is blessed with incredible water resources, 13 lakes, we have 3 creeks, and one of the greatest rivers in the world, the Mississippi. Nearly all of that is owned by and maintained for the public, for everyone to use. Downtown, South, and Southwest Minneapolis enjoy nearly complete and uninterrupted access to the waterfront. We strongly believe that North and Northeast deserve the same level of access. The 26th Avenue North Overlook will be the first RiverFirst project on the north side. It provides a destination and beautifully designed spot where North Minneapolis residents can connect to the river. It really advances a long-term strategy to reconnect north to the river after it was cut off due to highway construction and industrial activity. This project, like many of our projects, especially on the riverfront, is a demonstration of what we can accomplish when we all work together. Support from our philanthropic partner, the Minneapolis Parks Foundation, and individual and corporate contributors helps make our thriving park system possible, including equitable access to our city's amazing waterfront. It's an exciting time for RiverFirst because we're starting to see all these beautiful renderings and illustrations become real. Projects are getting funded and built and enjoyed by our park patrons. It's real now. The Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board is absolutely committed to equitable riverfront access. And together with partners like the Minneapolis Parks Foundation, we will continue to push forward to make that happen.
Great. Thank you, Al. We are really fortunate to have the superintendent here and all the staff that serve us through the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board to just take care of this incredible park system. So welcome back. We are coming toward the end of our program here. I want to thank you all for taking time in the morning. It's a wild time, and many of you might be facilitating online classrooms simultaneously or joining work meetings on Zoom. But we really appreciate that each of you takes the time to come to join us today and help support this park system. We have an amazing park system. We all know that. We all cherish it. It's really our responsibility to pass that forward, to be the stewards, to make sure that it is the park system we love is passed on to the next generation. So we hope to see you again next year in person here at Boom Island or in one of our parks for the sunrise. It's always the Thursday after Labor Day, so mark your calendars. The Minneapolis Parks Foundation, again, if you haven't made a donation, please consider doing so today. You can, again, up in the upper right, I think you'll see mplsparksfoundation.org/donate. Also, feel free to reach out to us. I would love to hear from you. And as Jennifer said, we would love to bring you out onto the site and appropriately distanced. If you want to go for a walk and see one of these sites, let us know. We also do some Zoom tours. You can reach out to me directly at t.evers@mplsparksfoundation.org. Would love to hear from you and to bring you out. Before we log off, I just want to say a few thanks to a few folks, and then we have a video, special video as we head out, last video here. But really want to thank all of our sponsors, particularly our lead sponsors, again, with General Mills, Bank of America, Bremer Bank, the Minneapolis Foundation, and United Properties. All have been critical, as well as the many supporters who helped us put this together. Also, I want to thank our board and Dorothy Bridges, our chair, for taking time to do the video, the welcoming video. And also want to thank all of our partners. You saw many of them, Juxtaposition Arts, the Sous Chef with Sean and Dana, they're fantastic. And our design teams, Damon Farber, HGA is the architect at the building at Waterworks, as well as 10 by 10 and Formula, who are doing the work at the Overlook. We work with incredible folks who love the parks as well. And then, of course, our partners, the superintendent, Al Bangora, and Kate Lamers, who's a project manager, all of the staff of the park board who help us do what we do. And then also these videos have been fantastic. We've been really fortunate to have some creative partners with Murphy Byrne, who works with the park board, did most of these videos. Also, D.A. Bullock of Bully Creative helped create a video, and Padilla's helped put some together as well. We are really grateful for all that. And then finally, just all of our donors. Without you, we would not be able to do this amazing work. Thank you so much for helping support the mission of the Parks Foundation. Get out there. It's a beautiful day. I can't tell you how great it is. I can't wait to have you here again. I believe we got a floating friend out there behind me on the river. So as we leave, Don't forget to make a donation. Don't forget to get out in the parks, enjoy them. They're here for us, and help us steward them. Reach out, let us know if you want to get involved. And then as we go, we've got one more video of our board to say thank you to you. And that's it for the morning. So thank you so much. We're really glad to have you, and we look forward to seeing you in the parks. Thank you.
Greetings, my name is Tom Paul. Thank you for your support to the Minneapolis Parks Foundation and for your commitment to make Minneapolis a great place for all.
Hi, my name is Heidi Schmidt, and Winnie and I would like to thank you for supporting the Minneapolis Parks Foundation.
Thanks for supporting the Minneapolis Parks Foundation.
Hi, I'm Dorothy Bridges. Your support of the Minneapolis Parks Foundation is appreciated. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jay Helverson. Thank you for supporting the Minneapolis Parks Foundation.
Good morning, I'm Stu Ackerberg and this is Navi. Thank you for your support of the Minneapolis Parks Foundation.
Hello, my name is Keith Holloman, and your support of the Minneapolis Park Foundation is much appreciated. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Jacob Fry, Mayor of Minneapolis. There have been a lot of changes this year. One thing that has not changed is our support for the Minneapolis Parks Foundation. I know things are a bit different. I know we're not all out there together, but this work continues and it's important. Thank you to the Parks Foundation and keep up the tremendous job.
Hi, I'm Nick Corney. I'm the Minneapolis Park Board Commissioner. Thank you for your support of the Minneapolis Parks Foundation.
Hi, I'm Steve Kane. Thanks for supporting the Minneapolis Parks Foundation.
Hi, I'm Angelica Klebish. We appreciate your support of the Minneapolis Parks Foundation.
Hi, my name is Steve Bailey. I just wanted to say that your support of the Minneapolis Parks Foundation is much appreciated. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Jossie Hale. Thanks for supporting the parks.
Hi, my name is Pahua Yang Hoffman, and I want to thank you for your support of the Minneapolis Parks Foundation.
I'm Nima Ahmadi, and I'd like to thank you for supporting the Minneapolis Parks Foundation.